Great. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear it in the back? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, good. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for coming. Clearly, my slides have been changed a little bit, so it might looks like the template might be a little bit different than what I saw earlier, but that's okay. We're going to move forward anyway, right? Anyway, guys, first of all, I wanted to say thank you for being here, but also to say congratulations. I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing. You guys are graduating at the top of your class. You've done some amazing accomplishments, and you've been accepted to medical school. Not any medical school, but the Baylor College of Medicine. So be proud, because your parents are proud, your friends are proud, your siblings are proud. So be proud of yourselves. When I was asked to give this talk, I started to really kind of think about my journey and how I got to where I am today. And I started thinking back, wow, 33 years ago, I was graduating from Trinity University in San Antonio. I had been accepted to the college, to the medical school that I wanted to go to as my number one choice, and that was Baylor College of Medicine. And here you can see my picture in the lower left is me with my sister and my mother, and on the right, all my friends who I graduated with, and it was a really special moment. And at the time, the path that I saw was really very straight. It's the one on the left. It was like I was going to become a doctor. Had every notion of what I was going to be, what I was going to do. So that was the path that I was seeing, and you probably see. But in reality, the path you experience is the one on the right. There's a lot of curves, a lot of turns, some cul-de-sacs, some U-turns. But I don't want you to consider that as being an impediment. I don't want you to consider that as being hard or easy. It's really about the journey, and the journey is what's going to get you to where you want to be, and that's the physician. That's the specialty that you're going to choose, and Baylor College of Medicine will get you there. This was my journey. There's a lot of stuff on here. I was once told by somebody smart who's sitting right there that make sure that your slides don't have too many points on it, but let's face it, this is a brag slide. The reality is that 33 years ago, I started at Baylor College of Medicine, and my journey is this circle. Graduated in 94 from Baylor College of Medicine, started a surgery residency at University of Cincinnati, took 2 years off and actually did a research fellowship in Galveston, went back to Cincinnati, finished surgery, did my fellowship at University of Minnesota. First job was as an assistant professor at UT Southwestern in colon and rectal surgery. Quickly learned that I needed to move someplace south. So I actually came to Baylor Scott and White, not because I wanted to be in a smaller town, but I really appreciated the structure of the organization, the integrated system, the opportunity to provide amazing care for multiple complex things in a hospital that was in a smaller town. So those were the things that really made me excited about it, number one. Number two is that traffic in Dallas was horrible. Traffic here right now, the traffic I hate is when I get stuck at the light on 31st Street. But my career actually flourished here. I've been leaders in all these different societies for surgery, colorectal surgery. I am actually currently the incoming president of the American Board of Colon and Rectal Surgery. So really some pretty amazing opportunities that have taken hard work. And for me, really getting to this place here today, 2024, It's full circle because now I am faculty at Baylor College of Medicine. I'm the chair of a department of surgery for Baylor College of Medicine for the Temple campus. And it's going to give me the opportunity to give back to the organization that gave me so much as a student. It really was the foundation of what I am today. It's the foundation, the bricks and mortar of the physician and of the values that I currently have. So with any good slide, there's always a disclosure slide. Look, these are lessons that I learned throughout the years that I'm giving to you. Successes, but probably more important, failures. You're going to learn from your failures, and don't think failures as being a negative thing. You learn more from failures than you learn from your successes. These are experiences and personal perspectives. They're my own. So in statistical sense, it's an N of 1. So first thing I wanted to talk about was a marathon. How many people here have run a marathon? Yeah. So a marathon is, I'm sorry? What? Okay, half marathon. How many people have done a half marathon? All right, fair enough. Yes, a lot more people. But the point here I want to make is that, you know, a marathon is sort of an analogy to medical school and to a career in medicine. A marathon is 26.2 miles. Educating yourself and getting to the point where you finish residency can take anywhere from 11 years to 18 years, depending on what you decide to do. The average, it's less than 1% of the U.S. population has actually successfully run a marathon. In the U.S. population right now, only 0.3% of the population is a physician. Average time to run a marathon is 4 hours and 30 minutes. The time that you have to take in order to complete your USMLE exam, Part 1 and Part 2, is 8 hours. So you can run a marathon faster than you can take the exam that you need to take it at the end of your basic science and at the end of your clinical. Now, I have run a marathon. I learned a lot from this, and I wanted to share some analogies that I had here too. So if you're going to do a marathon, you might as well do the marathon, right? I did the marathon in Athens, Greece. It was a run from Marathon up over the mountains and then down into Athens, and it actually finished in the Panathinaikos Stadium, which was the original stadium of the first modern-day Olympics. But what you probably don't know is that that was actually excavated in 1869. It was built in 144 AD. So it's really an amazing thing. And the last part of the race is actually the loop around that stadium. It's amazing. But here's what I learned from that experience. Number one, you got to train. You got to study. I mean, you're not going to just be able to go out there and do a marathon. You're not going to be able to go out there and finish medical school without putting in the time, the effort, the work. Pace yourself. Do a bit every day. How many of you guys cram for tests in college? I did. Yeah? I strongly suggest that you create an opportunity for yourself to study a little bit every day. The reason is if you go too fast and you start off too fast, you burn out in a marathon, right? You might not finish. If you postpone, or if you don't train, or you need to do something really fast in medical school and you need to cram for that test, you're not going to remember it as well. And what you really want to do in medical school is you want to focus on the knowledge that you can then apply to yourself being a physician, not just for rote memorization. And you really get that by doing a little bit every day. Teamwork is important. I did this marathon with my cousin, Maria. She and I ran together. it was amazing. I can tell you that I started off way too fast in the race, in the marathon. I was doing about, and for a lot of you guys, this is going to be like a snail's pace. I was doing 9-minute miles. I hadn't run a 9-minute mile in my training. There was usually about 10 and a half minute miles. I got so tired that she actually ended up going ahead of me. I ended up hooking up with another person that was having a hard time, and we helped each other finish the race, and it was fantastic. 6 hours it took me to finish the race. And so definitely pace yourself and teamwork. The last thing is enjoy the moments. Probably the most amazing thing for me for that race, the most amazing experience, was running into that stadium. My son was there. This was in November. I took him out of school and I brought him. My son was there. He hopped out of the stands, ran out to the entrance of the stadium, and ran the last lap with me. It was something that I'm never going to forget. And if I didn't do this and I didn't finish, I would have never had that experience and never had that moment with him. So that was extremely important. So medical school is a marathon. Number one, choose your equipment. Your equipment is your study environment. Where are you most comfortable studying? Is it the library? Is it at home? Is it on your bed? Think about the things that distract you and really focus your efforts on minimizing distraction and optimizing your learning. Start small, set realistic goals. What does that mean? Over here on the right, you can see if you think about a marathon, it's 26 miles, it's daunting. But if you break it up into pieces and you do it 1 mile at a time, that is much more feasible and much more realistic and much more achievable. Rest and recovery is critical. It's okay to miss a day of studying. It really is. You'll make up for it. Hydrating and refueling, make sure you eat healthy, because if you don't feel good and you're not eating healthy, it's going to be hard for you to concentrate. Good sleep hygiene. Now, if you look at the picture just immediately to the right, you'll see a pirate. So what I learned about sleep hygiene here is my son. He wanted to go to Disney and he wanted to go to this pirate session. He wanted to meet this Disney pirate and he wanted to dress up as the pirate. He stayed up, did not take a nap, dressed as a pirate because he was so excited. What happened? We were driving to the session and he fell asleep in the car and he missed it. So good sleep hygiene. Good sleep hygiene. Even pirates need to sleep. The next thing is cross-training. Cross-training is really kind of the foundation that you have for completing a athletic event. Think of medical school as your cross-training. You're going to learn physiology, you're going to learn anatomy, you're going to learn pharmacology, you're going to learn what it's like to be a primary care doctor, a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, a pulmonologist, a hematologist. Those are all skill sets, and that's all knowledge that will help you be a better doctor moving forward into your career, whatever it is you choose. Number 2, focus on wellness. Focus on wellness on yourself and focus on wellness for your patients. And I want to separate the two because they're critically important. Focusing on wellness. There are 8 pillars of wellness that are off to the left. I'm going to focus on just a couple of them. But one of them is physical wellness. You want to make sure that you get a primary care doctor, that you go see your doctor, that you establish that relationship. Because here's the thing, you're healthy now, you're going to start to postpone or you're going to delay going to see a doctor as you get older. Make it a habit. Make exercise a routine. The other thing I wanted to say here is that you're going to have books. You're going to have books of diagnoses. You're going to have books of diseases. Don't diagnose yourself, okay? I'm going to give you an example, and this one actually is a hematology example. So I'm a third-year medical student. I'm on the internal medicine rotation, and I'm reading about hematology. And I'm reading about bleeding diatheses, bleeding disorders, and stuff like that. I happen to notice that I've got blood on my neck from shaving, and I look at all of my shirts, and I see that I've got blood on almost all of my shirts, blood stains on all of my shirts. And I started thinking, oh my God, I've got some kind of genetic bleeding disorder, and I'm, and what am I going to do about it? So I went to my attending, and I told him, this is what happens. This is my symptoms. I've got something. What is it? And he actually said, well, before we go down that pathway, why don't you change your razor? I did, and I started using more sharp razors, and I stopped bleeding. Make exercise a routine. If you don't schedule it, that's the first thing that you're going to skip in order to meet your other goals. I find exercise, if I do it first thing in the morning, very rarely do people wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to bother me. So I just said, okay, it's easier for me to go to bed early and to do my exercise at 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's when I do it currently. And I can do it consistently because I don't get bothered. If I do have to do something emergently, it is very rare, and it makes me feel good the rest of the day. Feel like I've accomplished something. You and wellness, social. This is also important. Family, friends, and fellow classmates. Guys, this is your support group. These are the people that will help you get through the hardest times of your school, of medical school, of your career. Cultivate it. Make sure that you don't neglect it, because it will always be there for you. Financial. I know that you guys aren't going to have you will have a job. You usually don't get paid during medical school, and I wouldn't suggest that you have a job during medical school. But the one key thing that I think is really important is don't live according to your future earning potential. You can get behind really fast. But also don't deprive yourself. You can still take the trips. You can still go to the concert. You can still go out and eat. Just save, invest, plan, and don't overdo it. Next one is intellectual. We all have different passions and different things that we like to do. For me, it's more museums, history, travel, culture, and art. And you can see by the pictures here, I've done amazing things. I've been to the Sistine Chapel. I've gotten a private tour of the Sistine Chapel. I don't know anybody been to the Sistine Chapel? You got 1,000 of your closest friends going through, and you're just lucky to get to see the stuff on the top. I've seen the Scream. We've seen the Mona Lisa. We've been to Egypt, to the pyramids. All of this, guys, was in the last 3 years. I've got tons of this. This is my passion. This helps refill my cup when I'm tired and when I'm frustrated or when I need a break. So find the things that you like to do. Puzzles and books. Short time periods, you can take like an hour break and do that. Museums, history, it can be local, it can be international, etc. Emotional wellness, also very important. You want to make sure that you cultivate, develop those relationships. You want to be at celebrations. But also, I purposely put bereavement here because it was something that really impacted me. First, for relationships up there, that's my dad at the top. He recently got the Faculty Living Legends Award from University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston. He spent the majority of his career there. He's had multiple NIH grants. He's 93. He still works full time. Pretty amazing. Yeah. By the way, his research is on longevity and aging. Some people think he's found the fountain of youth. I just hope that I get to 80. So I was there for that for him, and the family was there. It was a very moving moment. I am so glad that I took the day to go down there and spend with him. Bereavement, pictures on the bottom. This is my grandfather. I'm named after him, Troy. It's my middle name. This is my grandmother. This is my maternal grandfather, my paternal grandmother. The reason why I have them up there is that my grandfather died when I was in medical school. He was a physician. He was one of the reasons why I went to medical school. I had a test the next week. My parents were going to the funeral. They asked me if I wanted to go. I told them I couldn't. I stayed and I studied for the test. I didn't do very well on the test because I was focused on thinking about him and why did I stay. So if I had one thing in medical school that I wish I would have done differently, I would have gone to his funeral, because the truth of the matter is that my professors at Baylor College of Medicine would have said, absolutely, I'll figure it out, you go do that. The reason why I know that is that when my grandmother died, I was a resident. I was on trauma. Every other night call. So I was in the hospital for 24 hours and then you'd go home. I got the phone call at about 8, 9 o'clock at night, and my chief resident at the time was Martha Ferguson, who I'm still best friends with today. She could tell that I was upset. She asked me what was wrong, and I said, well, my grandmother just died. She put out her hand without saying anything, and she said, give it to me. I said, what are you talking about? She said, give me your pager. You go be with your family. You go to what you need to go to. We'll figure it out. Every other night call, 2 residents, 30 people on the census. She was able to hold the fort down for me while I went and took care of what I needed to take care of. Now, if you take care of yourself, then you can take care of patients, right? So I think that's the key here, but I did want to talk about patient wellness, not necessarily in the way of you taking care of patients, but the way to start thinking about it, because the paradigm of the healthcare environment is shifting. We routinely take care of sick patients and we try and make them well. Problem is, in the United States, we have the highest cost and one of the lowest ranking healthcare systems in industrialized nations. That's a problem. We have baby boomers that are entering the age of high healthcare consumption, which is a resource problem. We don't have enough hospitals, we don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough clinics, we don't have enough operating rooms to take care of all the things that are coming. So really, the thing that I want you to focus here on is that the future focus will be on preventative medicine and health maintenance. So whatever it is that you go into, you're going to have to start thinking differently. Not how to take care of the sick, but how to prevent them from getting sick. Prevent them from focusing physician and healthcare efforts on making people better. It's cheaper to keep somebody healthy than it is to take care of them when they're sick. Now, burnout and work-life balance. You've probably heard this 100 times. I don't know if you really appreciate this, but you're going to use these 2 terms multiple times during your careers as a physician. The thing that I caution you about is the middle picture. So that middle picture is a guy. My son took that picture. It was a guy. We were in Athens. We were traipsing around the Acropolis, and then went to the Acropolis Museum. It was 110 degrees on the Rock. I mean, it was miserable. 12 o'clock came. We went inside. It was nice and cool. That's one of the first things we saw was a guy sitting there sleeping. exhausted, right? You're going to be exhausted. But the difference is that burnout is a constellation of symptoms, and it's a diagnosis. Work-life balance, I'm going to give you my perspective on that. It's important. Both of them are very important. But I think it's important to kind of get the perspective. So burnout, lots of things that cause burnout. Stress, intensity, demand, high acuity. Guys, that's medicine. It really is. I mean, I've just kind of defined to you what the life of a doctor is like because you're taking care of sick patients. Burnout is the defined characteristics of burnout is here. It's feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, mental distancing from your job or from your studies, negativism and cynicism. And then reduced professional efficacy. Listen, I'm not here to tell you that there's a quick way to eliminate this. I just need for you to be aware of it. It is preventable, and the way you prevent it is by replenishing your cup. That's on the right-hand side. So if you feel like you're burning out, or if you see somebody that might be burning out, make sure that you reach out for help or to give help. It's important. Work-life balance. Balance suggests equal. Let's face it, the responsibilities at home and the responsibilities at work are dynamic. They're not going to be equal at any given moment. So don't assume that you're going to work a certain amount of time and you're going to be at home a certain amount of time. Patient care, you're accountable for it as a physician. You've taken the oath. It's not a 9-to-5 job, it's a profession. There are dynamic demands for each, and that's very important. So I like to think of work-life balance as living in the moment, and you got to take advantage of those moments. You probably recognize the symbol on the left. It's the yin and the yang, right? I borrowed this. I'm not going to talk about the yin and the yang. I'm talking about what work-life balance means to me, i.e. living in the moment. The small dots in each of them, the white dot and the black dot, they're in opposite color amoebas, right? Those dots signify that there's no absolute work or personal life at any given moment. Each has a small germ of the other in it, right? I still have a family when I'm at work. I still have a family when work requires me to do a lot more stuff. When my family needs me, I still have a job. It's about that type of interaction. It's a dynamic flow or fluctuation. You need to figure out, one of the things that you'll do is you need to figure out what work in your personal life requires from you. The moment in time is the horizontal, and then the vertical is the definition of where you are in terms of work needs and personal life needs. So again, living in the moment. I put this picture up here because this is what really made me realize this. My wife, my son, myself. My wife about 8 years ago was diagnosed. 10 years ago. Was diagnosed with breast cancer. At that point in time, we had a 6-year-old kid. I needed to be home a little bit more. I was the chair of a department. I'm a surgeon, but I figured it out. And the way I figured it out was these guys right here, my partners. They stepped up. They gave me more time to be at home with my family so that I could make it work. And honestly, I'm appreciative to them and in debt to them forever. Now, last thing I'm going to talk about is enjoy it. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. Enjoy the journey. Medical school is a journey. Learn the basics. That's going to help you be a safe doctor. Experience the profession of being, it's going to give you the opportunity to experience the profession of being a doctor before you have all the responsibility. Try out different specialties and subspecialties, and The key here is that the rotations that resonate with you, the ones that spark your interest, the ones that give you passion, the ones that help you get up in the morning, are the ones that you need to take notice of, because that might be the right subspecialty or specialty for you. My dad once said that if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, and he still believes that he's not working even though he's 93 and working full time. So from a Baylor College of Medicine graduate, a surgeon, a department chair, and somebody who's Generation X, number one, pace yourself, train. Number two, focus on wellness, you first, then take care of your patients. Number three, experience life. It's important. It's what fills your cup. Culture, art, travel, it's really what makes you human. It gives you a different perspective. It provides the opportunity to rest and recharge so that you can be the best doctor you can be. Live in the moment, be flexible with your prioritization to your patients, to your family, to yourself. And the last one that you don't see on here is enjoy the journey. Critically important. So in conclusion, it's an amazing honor, a privilege, a responsibility we have as physicians to take care of patients. Medical school at its core will provide the knowledge, skill set, and technical ability to save lives. It's a great profession. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have and currently do. Medical school graduation comes fast. The picture on the right is me graduating from medical school. I received my diploma and was handed my diploma by Dr. DeBakey. He actually later on came to Grand Rounds in Cincinnati, and he signed the picture, so I have that hanging in my wall. But once you graduate from medical school, it goes even faster. You'll have that MD behind your name. Residency is much more fun because you're doing what you truly love. And then hopefully you will join a department as great as mine and have as much fun as we have, especially in a physically demanding profession like surgery. So please enjoy the journey.